Claim for the 5th spot in the rotation. Kevin Slowey gets his audition next on Sports Time Ohio. A gorgeous sunny afternoon in Goodyear, Arizona, as the Cleveland Indians play host to the San Francisco Giants in Cactus League action. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe starting to whittle down the roster, starting to get a little bit closer towards opening day in Cleveland on April 5th against the Toronto Blue Jays. One guy who figures to be a mainstay all season long for the Indians will be their shortstop is Drupal Cabrera. Last year, an all-star for the first time and the first Indian shortstop to win a Silver Slugger award.
Well, hopefully, as Drupal can come back and duplicate the numbers he had last year. I mean, when you look at his home runs, his fielding prowess was very, very good. He was in the running for a Gold Glove. He did not win it, but he made some terrific plays. He's a constant out there. He's going to be the captain on the field. So you hope Cabrera can come back. Whether he hits 25 home runs again or not, who knows? But he set a record for Cleveland shortstops last year.
Rick, the 5th spot in the Indians starting pitching rotation right now, Genmar Gomez is the leading candidate. He has pitched 4 scoreless outings this spring. Now, Kevin Slowey is a veteran who's been around. He's got a track record. He hasn't had as good a spring. What does he need to do to get back in the race?
Well, he has to come back and he has to pitch as well as Gomez has this spring. And I'll tell you, that's hard to do. Kevin Slowey's a control type guy. He's got to spot his fastball. He's a fly ball pitcher. He's not a ground ball pitcher. So, you know, it's affecting him. But right now, if you were to take that guy, it has to be Genmar Gomez if you pick right now.
All right, well, Kevin Slowey will get the chance to make his case this afternoon, and we've got all the play-by-play action for you coming up next right here on Sports Time Ohio. Back here in Goodyear, Arizona. Indians and the San Francisco Giants. Kevin Slowey getting the start for the Indians. And Gregor Blanco will lead it off for the Giants. 6 left-handed hitters in the starting lineup today for Bruce Bochy's Giants. And a first pitch strike from Kevin Slowey. One thing we know about Slowey over the years, while with the Minnesota Twins, throws a lot of strikes, and like a lot of the pitchers under the tutelage of Rick Anderson, usually a fast worker too.
Well, he didn't get timeout that time. Comes right back and fires another strike, and you're right, he was not settled in. He tried to get timeout again, and it just didn't happen. And that's what you want to do as a pitcher, get into your rhythm.
Got him looking. And Gregor Blanco. It's a little salty here to start the game, but he'll walk back to the dugout. Giants batting lineup looks like this with Blanco, then Mike Fontenot, Pablo Sandoval, Kung Fu Panda hitting third, Buster Posey back and hitting cleanup, Brandon Belt, Brett Pill, Emmanuel Burris, Brendan Crawford, and Chris Stewart. Here's Fontenot taking a strike over the outside.
Slowey wasting no time just pounding the strike zone, and that's the type of pitcher he is. He reminds me a lot of Josh Tomlin.
Over the bag and fair down the right field line. Chu has to come all the way in and pick it up off the carom, and it's an easy double for Mike Fontenot.
Let's set the Indians defense for you behind Kevin Slowey this afternoon. It's Duncan in left, Cunningham in center, Chews in right. Chisenhall at third, Cabrera at short, Kipnis is at second, Laporta at first, Lou Marson behind the plate. Last year, just a terrible year for Kevin Slowey, 0-8, and you can see he got sent to the bullpen for a while, had some arm issues and some problems as far as injuries go. Did not set well out of the bullpen, didn't like it, and felt in disfavor with the Minnesota people.
Slowey the set and the pitch, and Sandoval fouls it back out of play.
Seven pitches, 7 strikes. You have to like that.
The right-hander ready. And the 0-2. Hit pretty hard to left. Duncan drifting back will make the catch. And that's out number 2. Angel Campos calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. On the bases, Tony Randazzo, Jordan Baker, and Barry Larson. Here now is Buster Posey, a very talented Giants catcher. He's DHing this afternoon. But the Giants' season went down the drain last year when Posey was wiped out in a collision at home plate in a game against the Florida Marlins. Fractured his lower leg and knocked him out for the year.
Well, had surgery on it, and he'll be coming back a lot like what Carlos Santana had to do after he was beat up in Boston.
Right.
Very similar, where they'll have to ease him back into ball games, and don't know what his catching schedule will be. But this is really one of their heart and souls, the young player that had a phenomenal year the year they won it.
In addition to the fractured leg, as the throw was close but not in time to get Fontenot, he also tore all of the ligaments. So the surgery was mostly there to reattach all of the ligaments that were torn. So his recovery process was probably, I'm guessing, a lot more extensive than Santana's a season ago. Down low. But here's a guy who the Giants point to as their leader. He's the engine that makes them go offensively. And without him a year ago, there were other factors that led to them averaging only 3.5 runs per game last year, dead last in the National League in runs scored. In fact, it was even worse than just being last in the league. They were the lowest scoring team in the National League in almost 20 years.
Well, there you see where he got hit. He was run over, and that knee just got caught underneath him and rolled over on it and just got creamed right there. It was a bang-bang play. Bruce Bochy and his staff felt it was a cheap shot, but it's a bang-bang play. There's not much you can do.
Jam job hit to second. Jason Kipnis waits on it. Throws out Buster Posey, and the inning is over. No runs a hit, 1 man left aboard. Indians coming to bat in Goodyear when we return. Ubaldo Jimenez signing autographs before the ball game, along with some of his other teammates here in Goodyear. Tried starting lineup under Manny Acton today. Jason Kipnis in the leadoff spot, with Michael Brantley still sidelined with some hamstring problems, as Drupal Cabrera in the 2-hole and Chu in right, batting third. Santana, Duncan, Laporta in the middle. Aaron Cunningham, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Lou Marson rounded out.
Eric Surkamp, the left-hander, making the start today. Had some terrific numbers in A and AA last year. Projected to start out at AAA this year, because there's really not an opening in that Giant rotation. But this kid, he took over and had a chance to pitch at the big league level when Jonathan Sanchez was injured.
It's a young man who may be familiar to Ohioans. Eric Surkamp pitched at Cincinnati Moeller High School, which has produced a number of big league stars like Buddy Bell, Barry Larkin. He pitched Cincinnati Moeller to the state championship in 2005. He actually won the title game, went 8-0 that year, then went on to NC State before the Giants made him a 6th-round pick in 2008. Not an overpowering left-hander, as most are not, but a guy who they really feel, Rick, that once he develops a little better command, has a chance to be a very solid addition to their rotation. Popped him up. Kipnis sends a towering pop on the right side of the infield, and it's Belt who grabs it for out number 1.
The Giants defense behind Surkamp this afternoon is Pilla's in left field, Blanco in center, Burris is in right. Sandoval at third, Crawford at short, Fontenot at second, Belt at first with Stewart behind the plate.
Here is Asdrubal Cabrera. And as we talked about in the open, coming off a career year, but a career year in which you hope that he can build upon. It remains to be seen if that is the case, but all indications are that he has the talent to make last year not simply a high point in his career, but something that he can improve upon.
Well, I mean, once you have a breakout year like he did, it's tough to come back. You're going to have to prove it. I mean, he had an excellent first half, and in the second half it slowed down a little bit, and he was playing short every day, and he was really the best player on the Indians last year for the most part.
Chris Stewart blocked that pitch in the dirt, but it caught him in a tender area. Well, Rick, the one thing about Cabrera, when you talk about what he did a season ago, you figure defensively he'll be as good, if not better, than a year ago. Offensively, if the people around him stay in the lineup and stay healthy,
yes,
he may not put up the same numbers, but he should be as productive. There's a bloop shot toward right. That will drop for a hit.
Well, he'll be, he was hitting third a lot last year because Chu was hurt, a lot of injuries. But I like him in the number 2 hole because he's the switch hitter. And, he's pretty much the same from both sides of the plate. He fights one off there and bloops it in. But if you keep this guy behind him, Shin-Soo Choo, and the guy that's got some authority, they're going to have to pitch a little bit more to Cabrera, where they could basically pitch around him last year often. They just had a tough time scoring runs consistently.
Shin-Soo Choo looks at a ball down low.
But that goes with anything. If you're going to have a good year offensively, you need the surrounding players that are in your lineup to be out there on a consistent basis, so you can be consistent yourself.
Popped out of play.
And as a matter of fact, for Chu, if you remember, it was in San Francisco where he broke his hand with Sanchez that hit him with a pitch. Remember starting that West Coast trip in June. Hit on the hand and went on the disabled list, and was just one tough year for Chu all year long.
Boy, not much, but just a little bit outside. Surkamp deals. Pitch missed inside, and it's 3-1. Carlos Santana waits on deck. One out with a runner at first base. And a 3-1 count for Chu. See how aggressively they play this. A little tapper towards second base. First baseman Belt got in front of it to cut it off. They get the force at second, and there are 2 down with Chu at first.
Well, I'll tell you, Brandon Belt makes, look at him. He's very aggressive. Gets to that ball and gives a good throw to turn it. Crawford at short gets over there, and that's why you have to cover first base as a pitcher. They made it awfully close, but he got a good jump at first base to get the lead runner.
And so Chu is at first with 2 down for Carlos Santana. Tried to hold up, but the off-speed pitch tantalizing and dancing in there for a strike. 0-1. Santana, you see what he did a year ago. So far on the spring, hitting just 188. Couple of homers, 5 runs batted in. Just inside. Santana has 6 hits in 32 at-bats. Along with the 2 homers, he has 1 double. Outside. Over their last 8 spring training games, the Indians as a team hitting 284. Starting to swing the bats a little bit better of late. Down in the dirt, 3-1.
Well, normally with a little better control than what he has right now, but you certainly don't want to go through a lineup. And I think this is the 3rd hitter he's been 3-1 to.
Another 3-1 pitch. And he missed, ball 4. So 2 on, 2 out. And Shelley Duncan to the plate. I mentioned that Santana's only hitting 188 on the spring, but despite that, he's got the team lead in runs scored. He's crossed home plate 7 times. Now Shelley Duncan with 3 homers and 10 runs batted in on the spring. He leads the team in ribbies here in Cactus League play. Outside, ball 1. Surkamp again, and we mentioned this just a little while ago. Once he really is able to harness the command of his pitches, the Giants feel like they've got a good one. But you can see here in the early going, whether it's nibbling or just the inability to really command it where he wants to, he's fallen behind a lot of hitters. High pop. This will get him out of trouble. The shortstop Crawford lost it in the sun. He'll give way to Blanco, the center fielder, and the inning is over. No score after 1 in Goodyear. No score, second inning. For the Giants, Brandon Belt, Brett Pill, and Emmanuel Burris due up. Kevin Slowey deals and Belt fouls it out of play. After the cool down last several days, it's starting to warm up again. Pushing towards 70 degrees here today, and probably out in the sun it feels warmer than that.
Yeah, that was just a little a front that moved through to keep you honest out here, to back you off the 80-degree days, because there won't be many days the rest of the year under 80 here.
Called a strike on Brandon Belt, and he's down to the count 1-2. Temperatures expected to hit toward the mid upper 80s by the end of the week here. And the temperatures back home in northeastern Ohio continue to soar in the mid to upper 70s.
Isn't that great? Yeah, this is our last telecast for the spring. So the next time we come to you, it'll be opening day back in Cleveland, Ohio.
Thursday,
so keep
April
those
5th.
70s.
The 3-2. Got him looking again. Slowey with his second. Called third strikeout of the game as he gets Belt peaking.
Yeah, nice little hook. 3-2. Didn't really show him that curveball earlier, and then goes right on the outside edge. And as I said, he's a type of control pitcher where he has to find his control within the strike zone. We talked to Josh Tomlin the other day, and Josh says, I need to find the four corners.
Yep.
Well, this guy has that kind of control. He's got to throw his fastball for strikes in and out, up and down, his breaking ball out there, and change of pace. They're both fly ball pitchers, you know, and they'll throw the fastball up in the zone. The guys will put it in play, and if they're not on with their command, they could give up some long shots.
Slowey deals, and it's hit high in the air. Deep right field. Chu over on the run, slides, can't get it. It's a foul ball. And he appears to be all right as he went into a slide to protect himself.
Well, that ball going down the line off a right-handed bat, slicing away from the right fielder. So you know you're getting close to the line. You can see not much foul territory. That's a lot like Progressive Field.
Yeah.
You get down that line out there, and there's the only thing you can do is slide to protect yourself.
So with 2 strikes, Pill stays alive. Another jam job, this one to short. Cabrera flips it over, and there are 2 down. Our spring training news and notes brought to you by Taco Bell, and the new Doritos Locos Tacos is crazy good. Chris Perez scheduled to pitch in a minor league game on Friday. Casey Kochman, limited action each of the last 2 games, but back on the field, and that's a good sign. And for Michael Brantley, well, we were televising the game when he left in the second inning.
Right.
Hamstring strain or hamstring tightness. Hopefully they'll get him back on the field soon. Slowey covers first to end the inning. It's a 1-2-3 second for the Indians right-hander. We are scoreless in Goodyear. No score, bottom of the second inning here in Goodyear. For the Indians, due up Matt Laporta, Aaron Cunningham, and Lonnie Chisenhall to face left-hander Eric Surkamp of San Francisco. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning calling the action for you here today, and joined now by Indians infielder slash outfielder slash everything, Jason Donald. And you know, I guess that's something new for you. The utility role. You've got a bag full of different gloves now to go with your many different positions. How is that transition going for you?
You know, it's gone well. It really has. You know, we've taken it at a slower rate. In terms of, you know, early in camp has been was mostly infield stuff, and now starting to transition to some outfield work and whatnot. Took an infield outfield out there in the outfield today, and yeah, starting to get more work out there. But you know, it's gone well. You know, I always say it. I just try to keep it simple. You know, not try to overcomplicate things, and you know, whatever I'm told to do or asked to do, you know, I just try to do my best at it and get after it.
Have you gotten to the point yet, JD, where you know you're throwing from third base one day, maybe short another time? You may be going to the outfielder. Has it affected your arm at all yet?
Not really. You know, I've been fortunate and, you know, blessed with the fact that I've never had arm problems. You know, I think the biggest thing is usually going from the left side of the infield over to second, because those turns, you know, it's a little bit more stress on your elbow and whatnot, and you're dropping down and throwing. But that's been kind of the only thing that I've noticed for the most part.
You know, a season ago, for fans who may not recall, you were ticketed to be the Indians' starting third baseman, and then you were hit by a pitch, broken hand early in the month of March, and everything changed.
Yeah.
But I've told people often since that time, I said, you know, Jason Donald's a guy who could have pouted, who could have felt sorry for himself, who could have done a lot of things, but you did none of that. You went down, you continued to work your tail off, and instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you got yourself back to the big leagues last year, and now you're fighting for a utility spot on this ball club. How difficult, though, was that to go through, knowing what was in front of you last year and then how it all played out? You know,
it really was. It was difficult, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, I felt like I learned a great deal from it. You know, it wasn't just me, you know, having to go through it. It was my family with me, and you know, I got great support from a lot of different people in my life. And you know, without them, without their support and their help, you know, it would have been a lot tougher to do. And you know, I have to give a lot of credit too to, you know, the people within our organization. You know, just constantly, you know, checking up on me, wanting to know how I was doing and whatnot. You know, it didn't feel like it was a out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. You know, I still felt like I was a part of things, even, you know, if I wasn't physically there.
You know, it's amazing. This game is a humbling experience, because it's good, though, when you can turn a negative into a positive and make it better for you and your situation. That's a very good thing to do.
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, I really think looking back on that has helped me, you know, in terms of, okay, maybe I was, you know, ticketed to do that, to play third and whatnot. But, you know, it's not something that really crosses my mind anymore. This is where I'm at now. You know, I have to prepare for this season. And it just makes me feel that much, you know, more lucky that I get to be healthy at this time in spring. You know, because I remember last year during spring training, you know, how frustrating and how difficult it was when I would just show up to the field and I wouldn't get to hit, I wouldn't get to take ground balls. I didn't get to do anything, you know, and so it makes me appreciate being at spring training, being healthy. And then when I got back to Cleveland last year, I definitely appreciated it a lot more, because I knew, you know, what I had before, and never really fully knowing, you know, am I going to be able to get back here? You know, so it made it that much more special when I got back to Cleveland.
1 on, 1 out. Lonnie Chisenhall takes a called strike from lefty Eric Surkamp.
Well, you've been here long enough now where your confidence there, you know the situation, you know everybody in the organization, so you've got to feel good about yourself here now, and when getting the opportunity that you got to get after it.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I think, you know, spring training and whatnot, you know, is no matter what you're getting ready for, no matter what no matter where you're going to be, you know, I try to prepare for the season. You know, it doesn't matter what position, you know, what city you're in, wherever you are. You know, the most important thing is getting yourself ready for that 7-8 month grind, getting yourself ready to go and being in shape.
Talking with Indians infielder / outfielder Jason Donald. One on and one out here in the second. No score. Lonnie Chisenhall at the plate. And he goes down swinging, 2 down. Jason, day to day, when you talk about, being a utility guy, you never necessarily know where you're going to be from one day to the next. How do you stay sharp defensively? I mean, offensively, we know you take balls in the batting cage, you do all those things. But defensively, how do you stay sharp knowing you don't know where you're going to be one day to the next?
Well, I think you really, what I've learned is you really have to manage your work in terms of you can't overwork yourself at one spot and then, just completely ignore the other areas and whatnot. So, we try to break it up into, if I'm not playing in the infield one day or not starting, get a little bit more work in the outfield during batting practice, because that's really where your work comes in as an outfielder, is power shacking, reading balls off the bat and whatnot. And then, after I get done swinging and whatnot, and there's still a group left or there's still time left, going over to the half field and getting some work over there. I kind of just do it based on how I feel. If I feel good at one spot in the infield and I feel like, okay, I haven't done anything at this area in the infield, I need to freshen up and I need to do some work over there.
Have you have a favorite outfield position yet? It's fun shagging at center field because you can see the ball so well.
It is, and that's that's where it's been mainly thus far. During infield today, I went and did some stuff in center field. That's where I threw from. It really does. It feels natural being out there.
Because you're a shortstop at center of the diamond, you're used to seeing it off the bat that way.
Exactly, and I feel like I just get to run around out there. It's kind of what it is.
That's true. And believe me, there's a lot of running to be done out there.
Exactly. And
it depends who's pitching too.
A couple balls that I went after during BP, I told whoever I was with out there, I said, man, there's a lot more running involved out here. You got to, instead of like 10 or 15 feet where you have in the infield, you're running 40, 50, 60 feet, 100 feet, whatever it is. You're just constantly running around.
Jason, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate your time. Best of luck to you this year.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Jason Donald. We are scoreless here in Goodyear after 2 innings. No score, third inning in Goodyear, Arizona. Our final spring training telecast here on Sports Time Ohio. Brandon Crawford, Chris Stewart, and Gregor Blanco will bat for the Giants here in inning number 3. So far, so good for Kevin Slowey. He needed a good outing, and he has pitched very well to this point, throwing a lot of strikes.
Yeah, he has pounded the strike zone, and that's his style when healthy.
Rick, I was thinking about this as he was pitching last inning. Hypothetically, if he makes the ball club as your 5th starter, I wonder if they would consider breaking up both he and Josh Tomlin. If Tomlin is in fact your 4 and Slowey is your 5, because they're very similar style pitchers.
Well, you have Lowe in there as well. I mean, you could put 1/3, but Derek Lowe, a sinker baller. They're 2 fly ball pitchers, is what you're saying. And
not overpowering either guy.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. There's a straight fastball there. He didn't locate it, and it goes right back up the middle as a base hit, second hit for the Giants.
Now, if Genmar Gomez is that starter, then you wouldn't really need to break him up, because he would give you a different look either before or after Tomlin, depending on how that all
we're going to find that out, before too long. I know one thing, after the situation with the old Fausto Carmona, and now Robbie Hernandez, they got Slowey the next day. They traded for him. This one's going to short hop Lou. He sort of a little backhand there, didn't put a body in front, thought he was going to be able to catch it. As it skips to the screen, it'll go as a wild pitch.
And now Chris Stewart, with a chance to deliver the first run of this game, takes a strike.
So they wanted to cover all their bases, but if it's a legitimate competition here for the number 5 starter, like they say, Slowey's in it along with Genmar Gomez. As of right now, Gomez won it.
That's in the hole, and a base hit coming around third. Crawford going to be waved home. Duncan's throw not in time, and the Giants take a 1-0 lead. So the wild pitch directly leads to the first run of this game.
Well, in this ball, you get a ground ball. That's all you can do. I mean, he made him pull the ball. He wasn't going to let him get over, but it finds a hole. So they end up scoring a run here. He stayed back. Stewart hits it in the hole. So the Giants will draw first blood this afternoon. And as we know out here, the Giants, they draw well no matter where they're at. They're a big draw out here in Arizona. You see a lot of black and orange around, rooting for their team. But they're having a lot of competition this year with the D-backs playing so well in that new complex up at Salt River Field. I think the Cactus League attendance is up 200,000 people compared to what it was a year ago, because such a great spring, and we've had some great crowds out here.
The set by Slowey, and that pitch is hit to center. Cunningham got turned around, but he's able to get back and grab it for out number 1.
Well, on Saturday, you want to come down to Progressive Field because you'll have a select a seat event going on that day. Opening day is sold out, but you can still purchase, get there with the purchase of season tickets. Come on out, check out the seat location that you like. You can also see the newly renovated Club Lounge. So come on down Saturday between 10 and 2. Call 216-420-HITS or log on to Indians.com.
Left-handed hitting Mike Fontenot doubled over the first base bag in inning number 1. Up high, 2 balls, no strikes.
The thing about it too, when we're talking about that number 5 position as a starter, it looks like, and I know they don't want this to happen, Gomez, it looks like he could come out of the bullpen as well. Slowey hated it last year when he had a chance out of the bullpen.
Nicely turned around the horn. 5-4-3 on the inning-ending double play, but the Giants get on the board. Middle of the third, San Francisco 1, Cleveland 0. It's a 1-0 San Francisco lead as we go to the bottom of the third inning here in Goodyear, Arizona. Top of the order due up for Cleveland. Jason Kipnis has Drupal Cabrera and Shin-Soo Choo to face lefty Eric Surkamp. And let's go down once again to the Indians dugout, joined now by Indians infielder Jack Hanahan in a familiar role over there at third base this spring. And Jack, how are things going for you so far?
Been going great. You know, spring training is just a time to get a bunch of reps and get your legs under you and prepare for the season. It's been going great.
Coming into spring training, it was billed as a competition between you and Lonnie Chisenhall to see who would win that starting spot at third base. But the way you two have handled it, especially publicly, very graciously, and talked about how each of you have helped the other. It is a competition, but boy, it's about the best example of being good teammates while competing at the same time.
Yeah, and this team's full of great teammates who love to play the game and show up early, and it's a nice, fun atmosphere. I've been playing for a long time, and been able to play with some Eric Chavez, 7-time Gold Glover, Adrian Beltre, and they taught me a lot. I'm just trying to pass it on.
Well, Jack, last year you had a very good year against left-handed pitching, and I know every year is different, but was there anything that stood out that you were able to pick up that carried over last year, the whole year?
Yeah, just staying in there longer and just not trying to do too much. With the lefty on lefty, you really have to stay in there to be able to drive the fastball the other way, and also be prepared for a curveball, and just trying to transfer that over against righties and really stay in there and stay with my strengths, is driving the ball the other way, back up the middle, and just really doing what the pitcher allows you to do.
There's a lot to be said about that, because when you say you don't try and do too much, you're just seeing the ball and reacting to it.
Exactly.
But a lot of times with right-handers, sometimes a left-hander sees it so well. People don't understand, but it's not like you're trying to hit home runs, but you just see it so much, you tend to be a little quicker than you do off left-handers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you nailed it right there. I mean, you just see, you see so many righties, starters and coming out of the pen, and all of a sudden you get a lefty, and it kind of surprises you, and it kind of gets on you a lot quicker. And I kept rolling balls over on those righties, just trying to get out there too soon, and really just trying to pull them when you don't need to. You just kind of do whatever they allow you to do. If they're going to throw you away, you stay disciplined. Big rip right there. But stay disciplined and just trust your hands and go the other way.
I don't think anybody doubts the fact that Jack Hanahan could be a Gold Glove winner defensively at third base. But I heard you say earlier this spring, I want to go out and prove people wrong. And obviously you're referring to those who don't think you can hit enough to be a third baseman. What would be a year in which you could do that, Jack? What would you have to do offensively so that you could, quote, shut people up?
Good question. I don't know. As far as offensively getting on base, and then when guys are on base, driving them in. I've always been labeled that defensive third baseman, and last year, second half, I really figured something out offensively, getting that bigger bat in my hands, and really just using my hands and driving the ball the other way. And I figured something out, and I'm excited to just right out of the gates in the season and do it.
I noticed, and I was going to ask you did go to a heavier bat last year, another ounce or two more, but you choked up a little bit more. I mean, I saw you this spring, and you were up about 2 inches one day, and I didn't realize you were up that high last year.
Yeah, I kind of messed around with it a little bit, moving from a 34-inch bat, 31 ounces, and moved it up to a 34.5 and 33-ounce bat. So just more, you can feel the head a little more, and when I choke up, I feel like I have more control of the bat, and just use my hands, instead of using my shoulders and your chest. Just really staying with your plan and using your hands and kind of flicking the bat rather than swinging it.
Back when I came up, Frank Robinson was a guy that believed in heavier bats. Eddie Murray was a hitting coach here for a few years, and he was the same way. He tried to get guys to use heavier bats and tell them to just use your hands. And, nowadays, guys like such light bats because of the bat speed you can get with a 31-ounce, but they don't realize the wood's not as good.
Exactly. The biggest difference I saw is just those ground balls that you hit with the heavier bat. They just always seem to get through with my lighter bat. I was an infielder, was either diving and getting it, or just a backhand to him. But with that big heavy bat, it just allowed me to really get my foot down in time, and in BP and flips in the cage, you can just always get away with just getting it down just in time. But as soon as that game starts and everything speeds up, it's a big difference to be able to get your foot down. And really, when I used that heavy bat, is the first time I really felt like I was in a hitting position.
Pitches outside to Shin-Soo Choo, so a full count with 2 down here in the 3rd inning. San Francisco leading it 1-0. We're visiting with Indians third baseman Jack Hanahan. Now the payoff pitch.
Oh.
Choo with a liner towards center. Blanco backpedaling to make the catch. Jack, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate your time. Best of luck to you this year.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Jack Hanahan. Indians go in order. We've played 3 in Goodyear. 1-0. All right, 1-0 San Francisco. We go to the 4th inning here in beautiful sunny Goodyear, Arizona. Folks enjoying a day in which there is not a cloud in sight. Pablo Sandoval will lead things off for the Giants. Fly to left his first time up. And Kevin Slowey delivers a pitch that's fouled back.
Sandoval, a guy that had he was their big guy offensively, hit .315 last year, led the team in homers, 23, and RBIs, but only 70 RBIs. That's the kind of offense that San Francisco had last year. They struggled to score.
I mentioned they scored 570 runs, lowest total in almost 20 years. You just throw out the strike shortened seasons, and they've got the lowest total.
When you look at them, their pitching is spectacular. When you look at their starting pitching and their bullpen.
Well, if not for that August swoon, they would have been in it right to the very end a season ago with Arizona. But I think they lost, what, 10, 11 straight there in August.
When we went out to San Francisco, they were 3 one-run games, 4-3, a 1-0, and I forget what the third one was, but they were all one-run games. But they played well at home, and they played well in one-run games because of their pitching. But they certainly did not score enough runs, and one of the reasons this guy was out. So Bruce Bochy looking, it's almost when you get this guy back, it's an important piece to plug into that number 4 hole or into the middle part of that lineup.
Yeah, Buster Posey obviously is a huge key for the Giants offensively. Remember, too, they traded for Carlos Beltran last year, hoping he would help, and he came over and got hurt. He went on the DL. Aubrey Huff wasn't as good as he was the year they won the World Championship.
Yeah, they need him to come back. You're right.
They added Melky Cabrera in the offseason. Now, he's coming off some terrific offensive seasons for Kansas City, so we'll see what he can bring to the Giants this year.
That's what makes Posey such a good hitter. It was a fastball up. He didn't try to pull it. He took his base hit the other way, and that's exactly what Hanahan was talking about. Not trying to do too much. You just take what the pitcher gives you, and it's a nice stroke for a base hit.
Brandon Belt called out on strikes. He's the heir apparent at first base for San Francisco. He's 23 years old. Great power.
You know, as all young players get to the big leagues, you know, he can hit a ball a long way. He stays inside the ball. He's got great power from right center to left center. But, you know, then you have to deal with big league pitching that consistently can throw breaking balls and get you to chase pitches out of the zone. But you're right. He will be a first baseman, their first baseman for a long time.
There was talk about the Giants perhaps using Aubrey Huff a little bit in the outfield this year so that they could get, you know, Brandon Belt some first base time here in the big leagues. But we know all about that here in Cleveland with, you know, best intentions of, well, we think we can get a guy and maybe move him to the outfield, but that doesn't always work out.
No, and in the American League, at least you have the DH. National League, the pitchers hit. So, I mean, if you don't play your position, you're not playing. You're going to be a pinch hitter. Plain and simple. I mean, as an extra, if you want to be an extra man, you want to play in the National League if you're not going to play every day. Because you don't get the at-bats and the opportunities in the American League because you just don't pinch hit over here because you pay for the DH.
3-1 count. Just did catch the corner, and Belt doesn't like the call of Angel Campos.
Yeah, they'll start the runner now. Full count, 1 out. That's a late call. That ball had some movement. Belt didn't think so, but the umpire did.
Posey holds it first, and it's fouled back.
Well, yeah, they may not start him because of his knee. In a normal situation, you start your runner here. You're up 1-0 early in the game. Full count. You figure the left-hander is going to put Slowey in play. Slowey not a strikeout pitcher.
Now the runner takes off. Posey got a great jump, and it's ball 4. 2 on, 1 out.
Opening day less than 2 weeks, or right around 2 weeks away. You can still secure your seats with the excitement of Indian season ticket package. Best seats at the best prices. So you don't want to wait too long. Get your tickets now. Call 216-420-HITS and speak with a season ticket rep or log on to Indians.com today.
Now here is Brett Pill. He launches one deep left, and the Giants extend their lead to 4-0. Brett Pill with a monstrous 3-run shot. His second home run on the spring, and he now has 9 runs batted in for the Giants, tied for the team lead this spring.
Watch the fastball, the location. It wasn't. It was out over the plate. And that ball goes a long way. So that's a 3-pointer right there for Pill. And I mean, he smoked that ball.
Emmanuel Burris looks at a ball up high. Two balls, no strikes, 1 out here in the 4th. And the Giants now opening up a 4-0 advantage. San Francisco 11 wins, 6 losses, 3 ties in Cactus League action. Indians 5 wins, 10 losses, and 3 ties. Bruce Bochy, the head man in San Francisco. Curveball up high, 3-1. (3-1) pitch. Full count. As so often is the case in baseball, when it comes to having to make decisions about roster spots and positions, managers, general managers usually tell you the same thing, and that players make the decision for you. And in this spot, in this fight for the 5th spot in the rotation, it's Genmar Gomez who's making the decision for the Indians so far. He has pitched tremendous baseball, 4 scoreless outings. But it's not over yet, too.
No, there's still a couple more turns out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, you look at it and, you know, we have Mark Shapiro on. Maybe he can give us a little more insight. He's coming on in the 6th about, you know, how you sit. I've been in meetings like that before. You sit around a table and you may be split. You may have 3 different, you know, guys going with one guy and another guy going over here. You got to sit down and make that decision. If it's even and it's a push, for me, I mean, this guy has been up. He's been the best pitcher in camp for the Indians, not just for the number 5 spot. And he's one of your own. I mean, you drafted him. I mean, he signed with you. He's come up through the organization. That's the guy you want to reward, in my opinion. I mean, if it's even with him and Kevin Slowey, although Slowey has been in the big leagues and he has experience. That's going to be the argument that some people have when you want to look at Slowey if they're even. But they haven't been even.
The other argument, or the other element of this decision making, is that, well, what about the idea that we don't put a lot of stock in what happens in spring training?
Then don't say there's a competition. Don't tell me there's competition for the number 5 spot if there truly isn't. If you know who it's going to be. I mean, if you're just saying that for the media and for the fans, then I'm sorry.
Well, it's one thing if Ubaldo Jimenez struggles. He's not in a competition to make the team.
No, he's on the team.
You're concerned. You want him to pitch better. You're concerned, but you're still not putting a lot of stock in what happens for him.
Correct.
But when you're talking about a competition, these games do matter, and what happens here does have a certain amount of importance.
That's true. And for that number 5 spot, it certainly does with the Indians and with other teams. But, you know, right now, as we're talking about it and we're looking at it, we know what we see. Second wild pitch.
So a runner at second base with still only 1 out.
Might have been a changeup held on to too long. Matter of fact, that first wild pitch back in the 3rd inning, San Francisco scored their first run. It was followed by a base hit by Crawford.
Big bouncer foul. David Huff was also a guy who was in the running for that final spot in the Indians starting rotation, and he's pitched 4 times, 3 of those starts, 11 innings of work, 14 hits, 7 earned runs allowed.
Well, some people say, all right, we'd like to see David make it because he's the only left-hander. The Indians don't have a left-handed starter, but you just want your best pitcher to make the team. It doesn't matter right-hander or left-hander.
Scott Radisky is heading to the mound. He's going to go have a talk with Kevin Slowey. After giving up the 3-run homer to Brett Pill, he has walked back-to-back hitters now.
Boy, he started this game out where he threw 8 consecutive strikes, I think, before he even threw a ball. But that 3-run homer, you can see, really, it jolted him. Because you're right, back-to-back walks, and he has 3 walks in the inning. And that's something that Slowey is a type of pitcher. If they get on, he does not walk people. They may hit their way on, but you don't walk them.
There is activity in the Indians bullpen, and I believe it is Rafael Perez who is up for the try. We have not seen him this spring. He has been battling some shoulder issues, but he has been working his way back into shape, and now obviously a good sign that he's been cleared to pitch in big league spring training games. So we will probably see Rafael Perez in the very near future in this game.
Well, as long as it takes him to warm up, he'll be ready to go by the 5th.
Now Chris Stewart batting 9th for San Francisco, an RBI single his first time up. Now takes a strike. Just missed, 1-1. For nothing San Francisco. The 3-run homer by Brett Pill here in the 4th inning. Last inning it was Chris Stewart with the RBI single.
We got to send along some birthday wishes as Herman joins Perez up in the bullpen. One of our own, and Matt, your roommate this spring, Steve Bardo, his birthday. Happy birthday, Bardo.
That's right.
Attaboy.
I think he's done quite a bit of celebrating all month long.
Well, he should. He's sort of like you in May.
That's right. It's a month-long.
It's a month-long celebration, so you can't say anything about it.
Ground ball to third. Chisenhall to second. There's one. They turn two. Once again for the second inning in a row, the Indians go the long way to kill a pair. But the 3-run homer by Brett Pill has the Giants flying high in Goodyear. San Francisco on top 4-0 as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning here in Goodyear. Justin Christian has taken over for Emmanuel Burris in right field for the Giants. Meanwhile, Eric Surkamp has shut out the Indians on a couple of hits through the first 3 innings. He has struck out a pair and he has walked one. He'll face Carlos Santana, Shelley Duncan, and Matt Laporta. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning on the call here today. Go down once again in the Indians dugout, joined by Russ Kanzler, who came over to the Indians after spending last year in AAA with the Tampa Bay Rays. At AAA Durham was the MVP of the league. Russ, welcome. Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Oh, great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, certainly great to have you. And I talked to you earlier in the spring, and I remember you mentioning to me that the best thing is getting an opportunity to play every day. And last year was really one of the first times in your professional career where somebody said, hey, you know what, go out and play every day, and you put up the numbers and rewarded them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a player, that's all you can really ask for is the opportunity to show your ability on an everyday basis. And I was fortunate enough to get that opportunity last year with the Rays, and felt like I did a pretty good job of taking advantage of it. And I feel like I'm in a similar boat with the Indians organization. You know, I'm getting a lot of at bats in spring training here, and again, that's all you can really ask for is a chance to show yourself.
Well, you've made the most of your opportunities, hitting .355 on the spring, but it's a crowded situation, isn't it, Russ? No matter where you're looking at, if it's left field, if it's a spot on the infield where you've played as well in your career.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of competition here in camp, which I think is a very good thing. I think in the long run it's going to be good for everyone involved. It's healthy competition. There's a lot of guys with tons of major league experience, so I know that I'm getting better just being around these guys and having the opportunity to pick their brains and learn as much as I can from them. You know, like Manny addressed this in the beginning of the season, it's not necessarily going to take 25 guys to have a winning ball club. Sometimes it takes 30, 35 guys throughout the course of the season getting called up from AAA to help win some games.
Well, if you looked at this team last year, it took about 40 guys to keep this ball club together when you look at it all year long. And, you know, even if you, let's say you don't break with this ball club, really, I mean, it's that close. It's a phone call away. And the way they went through outfielders last year, and you're playing some outfield as well as you can play first base as well, they could always use right-handed bats here.
Santana socks one deep to right. That's down into the corner for extra bases. And Carlos glides into second base with a double.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think you know, I'm in a good position here. We need some right-handed bats. We're a lefty-dominated lineup, and you know, that's one thing that I can bring to the table to help the organization. And like you said, if worse comes to worse and I don't bring Camp with the team, I think there's a good chance that I can be back up there pretty quickly. You know,
Russ, just watching you hit this spring, it looks like you've got a nice, short, compact stroke. What is your philosophy to hit him? Because it looks like you use the whole field.
You know what? I wish there was a complicated formula to it, but it's pretty simple.
Well, that's good. Keep it simple.
I try to just keep it as basic as possible and stay out of my own way. I mean, I feel like throughout my minor league career, I did a pretty good job the first few years of getting in my own way and trying to overcomplicate things. And, you know, now I kind of changed my philosophy to really just getting a good pitch to hit and hit it hard. And we work so hard on our swings. You know, 7 days a week in the cage, we're in there for hours trying to develop our swings, trying to perfect them, that you just got to trust in the game that when you do get that good pitch, you're ready to hit it and you trust your swing.
I like that approach, man. That'll last all year long, baby. You don't have to worry much about that.
Yeah, that way you take the worry out of it. You know, you don't really have to develop too many approaches in your head, and it's the same approach for every pitcher, really. You know, they got to give you some strikes to hit, and if not, you know, you got to be disciplined enough to take them. Again, it's easier said than done, and you know, if it were that easy, I would have been in the big leagues a long time ago, but it's still a work in progress.
Old school philosophy: see ball, hit ball.
That's what Matt Williams used to say. I remember when he was here, and he was a pretty good hitter.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
The simpler you keep it, I like it, the better it is.
I agree 100%. And you know, like I said, we work so hard on our swings all the time that when you get in a game, that's gone.
That's a good swing. Shelley Duncan with a drive to deep left center, and it does clear the wall. Just did get over the fence for a 2-run homer. And the Indians are on the board. They cut the lead in half at 4-2. And Shelley Duncan with his 4th home run on the spring. He leads the team with a dozen runs batted in.
Right.
There you go. Big man hit it. Now, if a little man hit it, it wouldn't have went out. But Shelley Duncan hit that one. He's got enough power. You knew it was going to get out of here. Out to left center field, the 380-foot sign out there, and it just gets over.
He's got those down, man.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't hit many cheapies.
No, not at all. That was 400 feet there.
Yes, indeed, boy. Earned it, and the Indians are on the board.
Just did clear that fence into the Giants bullpen. And now Matt Laporta takes a strike. Ross, coming to the Indians organization after spending time with Tampa and maybe unfamiliar with a lot of the guys in this clubhouse, what has been your impression of this group, this team so far?
It's been a blast. It's been a blast. You know, I really feel like there's a lot of chemistry in the clubhouse. I was given a very warm welcome when I got here to this organization. You know, anytime you join a new club, it's just like a kid when you're changing schools. You know, you're nervous. You want to make new friends. You're trying to make good impressions on coaches, on your teammates. But the guys are great here. I was familiar with some of the guys from playing against them in Columbus last year when I was in Durham. So we all hit it off pretty well, and I feel like we do a good job of clicking as a core.
Matt Laporta, base hit his first time up, fouls this one back. That's been a pretty familiar theme, Russ, even though, as we mentioned, it's been a crowded clubhouse. There is a lot of competition for a few spots on the ball club, but you know, it's all been a very friendly, spirited, but friendly competition.
Absolutely. I think everyone's well aware of what's up for grabs here. You know, everybody wants to be in the big leagues and wants to be up there all year long. And, you know, you're not trying to root against anybody. You're pulling for everybody because you never know what the situation can be like next year. You know, you take this experience of being in a tough competition with a lot of guys with major league experience, and who knows, the next spring training, if you're in a similar competition, you've been there before, and you have the support of your teammates.
Well, Russ, we saw it last year with the Indians with the injuries, and we had Jason Donald earlier on the telecast, and nobody illustrates the point better. He was going to be on the team, probably the starting third baseman a year ago. Got hit by a pitch in a game in spring training, broke his hand. The door opens for Jack Hanahan, and everything changes. So, as you said, in your situation, nice play by Stewart. You got to be ready that things could change in a moment's notice.
Absolutely, and you guys made that point earlier. If worse comes to worse and I'm down in AAA, you know, it's one phone call away, and you always have to be ready to contribute at the major league level. And then once you get that opportunity, I feel like you got to be ready to jump on it and take advantage of it, because that might be the only chance you get to stick in the big leagues. And that's what we all want. We all want to stick in the big leagues for as long as we can.
Well, I think you've certainly been here this spring and opened some eyes with your bat, but there's sometimes you can go to spring training, there are no jobs open, so you know you don't even have a chance.
Right, and that's why I'm very grateful to be here in this situation, because I feel like I do have a good opportunity to break camp here with the team if I continue to do what I feel like I'm capable of doing. And you know, there's a lot of things that are out of my hands that I can't control, but either way, it's been a great spring so far, and I've been enjoying myself.
Well, Russ, I've been cursed all spring long with 2 outs. I'll ask a question, and right as I get done asking it, the next guy makes the final out. So I'm going to cut you loose here with 2 outs.
Lonnie's going deep anyway. I got a feeling.
I like your call. But hey, thanks a lot for stopping by. We appreciate your time, and best of luck to you this season.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Got it. That's Russ Kanzler, and making a strong bid to make this club. And as he pointed out, if not, he'll be a phone call away. Chisenhall strikes out. That'll end the inning. Tribe gets on the board. Shelley Duncan with his 4th home run of the spring. His team leading 12th runs batted in. Tribe down 4-2. Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. Great looking desert scapes here in Goodyear, Arizona. 4-2 Giants, 5th inning. And the Indians go to their bullpen for the first time today. And we will see Rafael Perez making his first appearance. Last year, 71 times he came out of the Tribe's pen. He won 5 games. ERA of just 3.
Well, yeah, he came into spring training this year with some shoulder stiffness, and this is the first time he's going to appear in a game. So I don't know what exactly was wrong, but this guy, a big part of that bullpen.
Well, where he gives the Indians a luxury is being that second lefty. You know, he's the guy that doesn't have to come in late. Yeah, he can come in early, and whether it's a matchup or pitch a couple innings or whatever.
There are matchups, because we've seen it here where the Indians didn't have a lefty coming out. Now that you have 2, he can face that good hitter in about the 5th or 6th inning where you have to match up. You have Sip for later on, and then you got your closer for the 9th where it doesn't matter. But this guy really, he eats up some innings when they're down, and you know, a multiple inning guy that can get right-handers out. He has a tough time throwing the ball straight. So he has done a nice job over the last couple of years. A couple of years ago, I thought he was done and buried, and then ended up coming back. But when he throws strikes, he's got a good slider, and he can get righties out as well as he does lefties. Keeps the ball in the ballpark as well. I think he gave up 1 home run last year, and that came after a long time. Where last year, I think Tony Sip gave up 9 or 10. Perez gave up 1.
Well, he gave up 2, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that second
that's
one.
pretty good. I mean, 2 home runs in 71 appearances.
Right.
The year before, he only allowed 3 home runs in 70 games.
Yeah, he's a guy that keeps it in the ballpark. I mean, you don't come in. I mean, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to put 3-4 hits together to score.
And here's the best part about Rafael Perez. 56 of his 71 appearances, he did not allow an earned run.
You know, he's one of those guys you take for granted, you know, because he doesn't pitch in the big moments of the ball game. But if you don't have him out there and you don't have a chance to go to him, then you'll miss him. You know, and a lot of people are saying, well, this guy could be trade bait for the Indians this year because, you know, he's getting to that point where he's making some decent money as a reliever for his caliber. But, hey, you got to pay money sometimes for relievers.
Shelley Duncan makes the catch in left field for out number 1. Hey, don't forget the high school basketball state championships are coming up this weekend, and STO will be your home for all of it. Who will be crowned champions? Find out Saturday morning starting at 10:30. All 4 divisional championship games live and in high definition. Log on to STOHD.com and you can get your tickets for the games at Ticketmaster.com. They'll be at the Schottenstein Center down in Columbus. Always a tremendous weekend. Ohio's March Madness. And speaking of Ohio and March Madness, still 4 teams alive in the NCAA tournament.
That starts off tomorrow, doesn't it? We got the Cincinnati.
Cincinnati and Ohio
tomorrow?
State. Well, they're going to kill each other off.
It's tomorrow, Thursday?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah, you're right. Cincinnati and Ohio State. And, of course, you've got Xavier and Ohio U also still alive.
Yeah.
I think Ohio U.
They have games down here.
got
They're
North
playing
Carolina.
downtown at the Southwest Airlines Arena.
That's right. Mike Fontenot doubled in the first, hit into an inning-ending double play in the third. Lonnie Chisenhall, who has started both of those 5-4-3 inning-ending double plays here today, has talked about the fact that, you know, Jack Hanahan has been the first guy to help him all spring long, and even going back to last year, he said, if I have a question, I go to Jack. He's forthright. He's always willing to help, always willing to answer, talk to me about, you know, how you position certain guys, because Jack said, hey, I've been around. I know the hitters. Lonnie doesn't know all the hitters in the league. Not sure maybe when it pre-pitch setup how you play certain guys. And so there is a lot of information to pass down from one generation to the next.
Well, that's how you're supposed to do it. He learned from one of the best out in Oakland. You know, when you're talking about third baseman. And, you know, he learned from him, and he's passing it along. And I'll tell you what, Chisenhall is going to be a good third baseman. It's just a matter. He's got a very good arm. And it's just a matter of knowing the hitters. He's right. Eric Chavez taught Hanahan, so you teach him, and he wants to move it along.
Rafi Perez strikes out Fontenot, 2 down. Now he'll face Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, all 3 pitches you're going to see, they ran away. That was a slider, and it's tough for a left-hander to hit that ball. 3 times he swung at that pitch and still came up empty and hurt his hand doing it.
Pablo Sandoval 0 for 2 today. And Rafi Perez in there for a strike.
We got another birthday I got to send out. Matt Weber back in Cleveland. Birthday today. Happy birthday, Matt.
Pablo Sandoval had a broken hamate bone last year and missed a chunk of the season. Lifted foul out of play. Got him looking. Rafael Perez, his first outing of the spring, and he looks to be in mid-season form. Strikes out a pair. Giants go 1-2-3. (4-2), Giants on top, bottom of the 5th inning. For the Indians, Lou Marson. That's a pretty good looking cap right there. Way to beat the heat.
That's right. It works a number of different.
If it's raining, you got protection.
Keeps the sun off your head. That's very good.
Lou Marson, Jason Kipnis as Drupal Cabrera. Due for the Tribe, Eric Surkamp, with his 5th inning of work, delivers a strike. Mentioned earlier, Eric Surkamp, a Cincinnati native, played high school baseball at Cincinnati Moeller, then went to NC State and eventually became a 6th-round pick of the Giants in 2008. Buddy Bell, Ken Griffey Jr. also went to Moeller High, and Barry Larkin, who will be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame this summer after spending his illustrious career with the Cincinnati Reds, who share this facility in Goodyear with the Indians. Well, if you joined us late, Kevin Slowey got the start for the Indians, and he started off very strong. 2 scoreless innings to start the game with a couple of strikeouts. But then he ran into trouble in the 4th when Brett Hill launched a 3-run homer to left, staking the Giants to a 4-0 lead. Indians came back bottom of the 4th. Shelley Duncan, his team-leading 4th homer, and his 11th and 12th runs batted in on the year to cut the lead in half. Jason Kipnis 0 for 2. Kipnis has been in the leadoff spot today. Michael Brantley sidelined with tightness in the hamstring. One and 2 the count. Squibb toward third. Sandoval throws him out, 2 down. I want to tell you about the Grand Slam Gala. Chance to hit a home run for the less fortunate in the Dominican Republic. Join Manny Acta, Indians owner Larry Dolan, Wednesday, April 4th, on the eve of opening day at the Terrace Club overlooking Progressive Field. Your ticket will bring hope by providing much needed medical assistance and care to the poor and it helps to build new homes and for families most in need of shelter. Purchase your tickets by visiting missionpossible.us. The meet and greet will be at 5:30 and the event starts at 6:30. Once again, that's missionpossible.us. Nice way to kick off the baseball season on opening day eve at Progressive Field. As Drupal Cabrera looks at a ball down low in the count, even at 1-1. Surkamp with the 1-2. Kevin Slowey getting the legwork in the outfield. No 1-2. Wide of the mark. Low and inside, a full count. Surkamp near the end of the line.
Yeah, you're at that time of spring or 5 innings, man. That's your start. They're working you. Get those starters ready to about 100 pitch mark before you leave camp, and he misses.
Just missed. And a 2-out walk keeps the inning alive now for Shin-Soo Choo. Dave Righetti, Giants pitching coach, checking with the guys in the dugout. See who's up and who's ready in the bullpen. They do have a right-hander up and loose and looks to be ready to go.
Yeah, he was ready. He was sitting there waiting. I think they're going to see if this young man can come back and get the lefty to finish it off and complete his 5 innings.
And Shin-Soo Choo takes a strike. He is 0 for 2 today. Edelson loosening for San Fran.
You know, you go back to that first inning where Surkamp, he ended up walking one, but he was 3-1 to all the hitters, 3 out of the 4 hitters in that inning. That was only his second walk today, and he had Cabrera down in the count 1-2 before throwing 3 straight balls.
Good pitch that time over the inside part of the plate. He jumps ahead 1-2. Tying run at the plate for the Indians here in the home half of the 5th. Up and in. Choo goes to the deck.
Well,
reminiscent of what we saw a year ago.
Well, you throw that breaking ball. He started at Adam the pitch before, and it sort of breaks over the inside corner for a strike. So you're thinking the same thing as a hitter, and it's a fastball that gets away from him. And you know you're trying to hang in there to hit the breaking ball, and then that fastball gets on you in a hurry.
Runner goes, and the 2-2 up and away. Throw down in plenty of time, and Cabrera out to end the inning. 5 in the books in Goodyear. It's the Giants 4 and the Indians 2. Loco Tacos. It's crazy good.
Tejeda.
Back here in Goodyear, it's the Giants with a 4-2 lead over the Indians going to the 6th inning of play. The Indians will go back to their bullpen after a beautiful inning by Rafael Perez. Set him down 1-2-3, struck out a pair. We got our first look at Robinson Tejeda, who's appeared in one spring training game earlier this year. He's been down with a calf injury of late, and now cleared to play.
Well, it didn't take Rafi Perez long to get into shape. He's ready to go.
Christian Guzman taking over at second base defensively now for the Indians. That appears to be the only other change for now. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and we're joined now by team president Mark Shapiro here in Goodyear, Arizona. A little bit of a different schedule for you in spring training now than compared to the old days.
A little back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, instead of coming out here and settling in for 7 weeks, I've been back and forth a couple times, but still a special time of year for anybody that loves the game of baseball. Just there's nothing like spring training and the atmosphere around the team, and the renewal of just hearing the crack of the bat and the pop of the mitt and just getting in that routine again.
Well, it's been a great spring. I mean, out here weather-wise, and I mean, for attendance out here over the course of the spring, I think they're up 200,000.
I mean, weather-wise, it's no Cleveland. You know, it's not 85 and sunny every day, as my wife is happy to tell me. but it's nice, you know.
And there are legitimate reasons to be excited about this Indians team coming up this year. Certainly the Tigers will be the favorite in the American League Central Division, and rightfully so, as Buster Posey lines a base hit
right there
in the left field, his second hit today.
But no, we have had a good spring overall, very good spring. I think you're looking at, when you look at the quality of at-bats that our potential middle lineup has put up all spring, Santana's been in here on a mission in tremendous shape. Obviously, Chu looks as good as he's ever looked. Quality at bat after quality at bat. Struble, you know, I see Hafner healthy and swinging it, and you know, I think we're going to have a lineup that surprisingly puts up some runs. Kipnis too, quality at bats, you know, throughout the entire spring. So I think our lineup's going to be deceptive, and pitching is going to be the key for us. And I think you look at the performances of Jonmar Gomez, Zach McAllister, you know, some of those younger guys that have come in, and add to the veteran guys. And obviously a key guy for us would be to get Ubaldo up and running and going. He's not concerned. He's had some bad springs in the past.
Popped on the infield as Dribble Cabrera has it, one away.
You know, we were talking about that number 5 battle that's going on between Gomez and Slowey, who pitched today. I mean, when you look at Gomez, he's been the best pitcher in camp right now. I mean, if we were in a break, he's got to make this team if we were in a break today.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, if we were to break today somewhere, it makes the team either as the 5th starter or in the bullpen. You know, you want to have all those bullpen guys be able to give you quality innings too. But Jonmar's come in. He's always had a good sinker. It's been, I think, really crisp and late. And his slider's been better this spring as well. But pounded the zone with confidence, and that's what a sinker baller has to do. But even gotten some swing and miss as well.
But his secondary pitches, he started, I got to think of the hitter with a changeup up the other day. Started him off. It was Andre Ethier. Started him off with a changeup, put him away with a changeup.
I think he threw 3 straight. Yeah, his secondary stuff's been better this spring than I can remember it, which is a key for him because he's primarily pitched in the big leagues with one pitch, with just his sinker.
Right.
Brett Pill takes the ball down low. It's 2-0. Pill hit the 3-run homer in the 4th inning that staked San Francisco to a 4-0 lead at the time. Indians have cut that lead in half. It's been an interesting spring training, and that we've never seen this many players in camp battling for jobs. And it's not that there are a ton of positions open, but strength in numbers. I mean, you've got more options, more people to look at.
Yeah, Chris and our baseball operations staff did a great job at kind of looking at that market that's been highly productive for us in past years, where we've gotten guys like Casey Blake and others to come in here and meaningfully contribute and bring in a lot of competition for the extra outfield spot, you know, for the extra spots in the bullpen. And even in the utility infield and the infield depth. And, you know, the important thing with those spots is not just that they potentially fill spots in the team, but they also provide you with depth as the season goes along. So you're evaluating those guys as to how they fit today. You're also looking at them to get a feel for where they might fit as the season transpires.
Well, you talked about the lineup, but the key is keeping that lineup on the field all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, last year it didn't happen.
No, we do not. I mean, the guys I mentioned to you that have had good camps were not on the field all year. You know, Chu, Kipnis, Struble, everybody missed time last year. And for us to be successful, you know, our margin for error, we've never hit from it, is not that big. We've got to keep our guys in the field. We've got to have, you know, some surprisingly positive performances outnumber the negative performances. I do think, you know, one thing we've talked about and genuinely believe is that we've got a large group of players either entering their prime or in their prime. You know, that upside for this team, if we do stay healthy, the upside for this team is good, and that's a very positive thing for all Indian fans and for us.
Mark, in your role now as team president, I know you haven't completely divorced yourself from the baseball side of things. I mean, that's where you made your bread and butter for a lot of years. But in your new role, are you still involved in decision making, or are you more like a consultant now to General Manager Chris Antonetti?
I think, you know, the interesting thing is I did that job. I've got too much respect for how hard that job is to get in and get out in an in-depth way. In addition, I've got such respect for Chris and his process and work so well with him that I like to stay informed to understand what's going on. I like to be there for Chris if he wants a resource as he walks through decisions. But again, I understand when he gets to a decision-making point or making a recommendation, you know, I may be a little bit of an antagonist to ask questions, you know, to push him to think differently. But by and large, I have such great respect for the process that he goes through and that our baseball operations staff go through, that I'm usually there to help them make the decisions easier. I'm usually there to help them understand the context for the decisions from a business standpoint and to try to communicate that with ownership as well and just support his decisions.
3-1 pitch. Slow tapper. Tejeda has it. The flip to first, and he gets out of trouble. We'll continue with Indians team president Mark Shapiro. We're in the middle of the sixth. It's the Giants 4 and the Indians 2. We're back here in Goodyear, and we've got some changes to tell you about for San Francisco. Steve Edlison, right-hander, coming on in relief of Eric Surkamp, who pitched well today. He went 5 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits. In addition to Edlison, we've got Hector Sanchez taking over for Stewart behind the plate, and Joaquin Arias taking over as shortstop. And that's it for now.
Yeah, it's only the 6th then. It's about time.
The big changes are coming.
Number 78 and number 93, and with no names in the back, they'll be coming in the 8th and 9th.
Well, we noticed before the game the Giants did bring a lot of guys with no names on their back. So
yeah, that tells you
we'll see.
they're running those guys out from minor league camp. Although we are starting to get you get towards those last 10 days and you start to play your guys a little longer. You start to see some regulars. Still, obviously, Sandoval and Belt are still out there, and you'll keep guys in longer. You've got to get them ready.
Mark Shapiro is our guest here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Indians team president, formerly the general manager of the club, and I know you always had a sense of how baseball decisions impacted the business side of the organization. Have you gotten a greater sense of that?
I've got a greater appreciation of how hard it is to make those to drive revenue, to increase revenue. I no longer look at a performance bonus for a player at $250,000 and just flippantly say $250K. I understand how hard it is, how many tickets you got to sell, how hard it is to sell a sign in the outfield, and a greater appreciation for that side of the business and that side of the job, and just how tough it is.
Well, if you had to go back and negotiate a contract, would you keep
I'd probably be a lot tougher. I'd be a lot tougher negotiator right now.
I was always a player. I didn't believe in incentives. Pay me what I'm worth, and don't forget about the incentives. I mean, because some of them, there's some big incentives out there now.
Yeah. We just, we'd handle your incentives in rental car upgrades
and
tanning bed salons. Yeah, tanning booths. I know where your sweet spot is, Arch.
Well, see,
I know just how to handle. I negotiated a few times with you.
Arch, you would not win. This would not be a good negotiating matchup for you.
Yeah, well,
no, I know the weak spots.
No, he knows my weak spots.
Far too much.
There's always a back door.
Carlos Santana.
The knowledge goes both ways.
That's true. Yeah.
Santana singled and scored his last time up. Tried down 4-2 here in the 6th.
Seriously, though, I mean, have you guys noticed, Carlos, just the condition that he's come in? This guy, and the quality of his at-bats, even his outs they've been loud outs. He's really had a good. He looks locked in.
Well, he's going to get more time behind the plate this year. I think it's only going to help him. When he comes in shape. But every young athlete, and he had a chance. He was coming off a year where he didn't know if he was going to play all the time because of his knee. Now he was very productive. And now he's going to catch. You learn something every year, and this kid loves to play.
He put a charge in
that's what I'm saying. Even his outs, he's had loud outs, man.
Yeah, but as a hitter, you go back, hey, way to swing. He's saying, shut up, I didn't get a hit.
No, I don't like that. That's what all the young guys have to know. That's still a quality at bat.
Yes, it is.
That's the game right there.
Well, you know that.
For that one, you're going to get a bleeder. At some point, you're going to get an infield hit.
Well, the ball jumps off his bat. There's no question.
You got to love a kid that's that aggressive. That selective aggressiveness. He doesn't swing at bad pitches real often, but he is aggressive. He does not get cheated. And neither does this guy, by the way.
No, sir.
Shelley Duncan, his team-leading 4th homer his last time up.
He backlegs it. That 4th homer, though, was a little bit of an Arizona spring training homer for him.
Well, that's okay.
He doesn't get cheated very often.
He leaves it all on the field.
I love him.
He takes it out after his dad, man. He plays hard.
He's beautiful.
No matter where he's at.
Important guy on the team, too. His teammates love him.
Right.
Take another look at it here, Mark, on the replay.
Now, another left-hander that he's going to hurt. And you're right, that ball might have had
that was a fence scraper.
For him, yeah. For him it was, but still.
For him, yeah, because there are no doubters.
Yeah.
We're trying to petition the league to move the foul pole about 40 feet over for him. We figure he'd hit about 50 if that.
You can't throw a fastball by him.
Justin Verlander tried, right?
He tried twice.
Yeah.
He got him both times.
All right, guys.
Giants retire the side.
Sure you don't want to stay here?
I got to go. Yeah, I got
to. Indians team president Mark Shapiro with us. 4-2 San Francisco through 6. 4-2 is our score in favor of San Francisco going to the 7th inning. And now on the pitch for the Indians will be Jeremy Accardo. Accardo has pitched in 5 spring training games so far. He's worked 5 innings. He's allowed just 1 run. He has walked 1, struck out 4. Taking over at third base is Andy LaRoche. Felix Piet is now in left field. Chad Huffman is in right. And leading off now for San Francisco will be their new catcher, Hector Sanchez. He came on for Chris Stewart. Sanchez lines it to left field, a base hit.
Well, come on down to Progressive Field on Saturday. That's March 24th, and Select a Seat event will take place. Opening day is sold out, but you can still be there by purchase of a season ticket package, and you want to test drive the best seats in the house. Get a sneak peek at the newly renovated Club Lounge. 216-420-HITS is the number to call.
Here is Gregor Blanco for 3. Base hit into right field. Back-to-back hits allowed by Accardo to start the 7th.
Well, he gets a fastball out over the plate, pulls it in the hole into right field, so it's 1st and 2nd here. Giants looking to add on.
Mike Fontenot doubled in the 1st, hit into a double play to end the 3rd inning, struck out his last time up. Indians looking for the bunt. They pinch in at the corners. Pablo Sandoval on deck. Pretty good bet. Fontenot will be laying one down.
Well, this is how the Giants had to play last year. You play for 1 run. You got a lead now, and there you go. He gave him 1 shot.
Or at least, you try to get 2 into scoring position for your big bopper.
Well, sure you do. And then you probably pitch around him and see what's going on, but then you would face Posey. But that's the Giants had to play small ball. You had to move runners at times, and during the year, I guarantee they would do it. But in spring training, he's going to give him a chance to swing the bat.
Laporta kicked it, and they don't get anybody. And they're loaded up with nobody out. Matt got leather on it, but he just couldn't corral it. It came right out of his mitt.
It would have got the job done anyway and moved the runners along. But, you got to catch the ball. And even if he had an opportunity, if he fields it cleanly, he could have went to second base and got a lead runner, kept the double play in order. But once again, and then Accardo going over there, he wanted to catch the ball and runs over Laporta.
So they're loaded up for Sandoval with nobody out. And it's caught by Guzman, but no play anywhere. So they get the out. He was hoping to get 2 there. But nobody strayed far enough. 1 away. Big out.
Well, it certainly was. You needed an out here. And I mean, this ball's on the line. If not, it's a gap shot. So the base runners, when you're there, that's what you're taught, man. You freeze on a line drive. Base runners did a good job. Sandoval hit the ball on the nose. Nothing to show for it.
And Fontenot looked like he had strayed too far, but the key there is he knew where Laporta was defensively. And he didn't go any farther than to where he could beat him back to the bag, which is why Guzman didn't have a play there. Buster Posey, 2 for 3, couple of singles and a run scored. Line to first. Laporta's got it. 2 down. Back-to-back line drive outs.
Yeah, you keep popping up. Couple of liners right at the position players. One at second, now at first. He's going inside out, so now Accardo with a chance to get out of this inning without allowing a run.
If he can get Brandon Belt 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Lays off. It's low, ball 1. A one-hopper to Guzman. He flips to second, and somehow Jeremy Accardo gets out of the jam without allowing a run to score. Giants leave them loaded. Stretch time in Goodyear. Four-two Giants. Bottom of the 7th inning. Left-hander Javier Lopez coming on now for San Francisco. Last year he pitched in 70 games and had an ERA of 2.72.
Well, we've seen him with a number of different teams. Gillespie comes in third base. Connor Gillespie, Ryan Lawless. Now we're getting to the no names on the back. He's out in center field. Yeah, the sun has moved over a little bit. At 3 in the afternoon.
Is that another new catcher? Or is that still Sanchez?
I thought it was Sanchez. He hit. Let's take a look.
I believe that's still Sanchez. All right, so Matt Laporta will lead off. Aaron Cunningham will follow. And then Andy LaRoche will be due up third. Swung out and missed. Lopez, very consistent performer. 5 times in the last 6 years his ERA has been at 3.10 or lower. 2-2. Laporta strikes out, 1 down.
Well, we told you opening day at Progressive Field is sold out. You can still secure seats for a season ticket plan. Best seats at the best prices, and you can still get that opening day ticket. So come on out Saturday. Check out on your seats. Call 216-420-HITS to speak with a ticket rep.
Aaron Cunningham 0 for 2. Looks at a ball. One ball, one strike. Cunningham pops it up. Might be playable here. Belt, he's got plenty of room, makes the grab. 2 down. You know, Rick, with Tony La Russa retiring at the end of last season, Bruce Bochy now is the longest active manager in the big leagues. 18 consecutive seasons.
As far as a manager.
He's been a manager now.
Yeah, he started down in San Diego before taking over in San Francisco. Yeah, 18 years tenured that's impressive.
We saw Tony La Russa earlier this spring. He was here in camp along with his longtime friend and pitching coach Dave Duncan. And Dave Duncan had never seen Shelley, his son, play in a game since he was a kid.
Yeah. Well, they're in uniform and in spring training. If you don't play on that ball club, then they're gone.
So he had a chance to see Shelley.
Life. Yeah,
Shelley played a number of times this spring.
He was here for a week.
LaRoche grounds to second. Fontenot throws him out. 1, 2, 3 go the Indians. We go to the 8th. 4-2 San Francisco. (4-2) San Francisco. We go to the 8th inning. It will be Tony Sipp coming on to pitch for the Indians. Tony appearing in 69 games a year ago. He'll be facing the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for San Francisco. Matt Pagnozzi taking over behind the dish. We mentioned earlier this is our final spring telecast of Indians baseball. We'll be back with you on opening day in Cleveland when the Indians take on the Toronto Blue Jays Thursday, April 5th. In addition to that, all next week, beginning next Monday night, we'll have another installment of Spring Training Daily, and that will air at 9:30 Eastern Time. I'll be reporting from here in Goodyear with all the latest information with regards to those final roster spots, who makes the final rotation spot, who ends up in the bullpen. But we'll have all the very latest spring training news and information all next week, beginning Monday night at 9:30 on STO.
Well, it'll all work out. You'll be able to tell us who's going to break camp with the Indians, and then we'll be able to, follow up in April to say who's staying, because the way it changes, it's
right.
different.
Bill will swing and a miss. Well, that's why during the off season, and you and I do the same thing that a lot of the fans are. You're watching the off-season news. You see who the team is signing, and sometimes you scratch your head and say, boy, I wonder why they signed that guy. And a lot of the times the reason is you want as much depth as you can possibly put into your organization. In the event of injury, in the event of poor performance, you want as many safety nets as you can get.
Hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Nice pitch by Tony Sipp to get the strikeout.
Yeah, look at a changeup. When Sipp has his changeup working, it's very good. He's got a slider and also the fastball, but that was a good changeup right there.
Justin Christian gets his first at bat of the day. Up high for ball one. Beg your pardon, his second AB. I think I said his first fly to center, his first time up. Shallow left, PA closing fast. He has good wheels, gets to it with no problem, and there are two down. Joaquin Arias. Joaquin Arias. Elon for Brandon Crawford at shortstop. And it's fouled right back to the screen. Just missed. 1-1. Two balls and a strike to count here on Joaquin Arias. Smash to second. Guzman will throw him out, and Tony Sipp has a 1-2-3 8th inning. Back here at Goodyear, a sun-splashed afternoon, and David Hasselhoff's becoming a star again here at Goodyear.
It doesn't get any better than this. Watching Indians baseball, bottom of the 8th, listen to David Hasselhoff. It's beautiful. I can't help this feeling.
That's a little blue suede cover right there, hooked on a feeling.
Baby.
All righty, let's get back to the business at hand, if you want to call it that. The muggy business at hand. Clay Hensley is coming on now to pitch for San Francisco. And they've got a new left fielder, James Simmons. That leaves Mike Fontenot, and Brandon Belt is the only starter still in the game for San Francisco. The second baseman and first baseman. For Cleveland, Matt Pagnazzi will lead off. He'll be followed by Christian Guzman. And then Asdrubal Cabrera would be third here in the 8th. Tribe down a pair, 4-2. Do you suppose there's any chance, if we took that back with us to Cleveland, that could become as popular as Sweet Caroline in Boston?
It would be with me. There's an outside chance. Oh boy. We just have to delay the bottom of the 8th a little longer.
Down low. Those Kung Fu Panda. Hammered to left field, and a nice catch made there by Simmons just into the ball game. Tested on a sinking liner and able to grab it.
That's just great managing by Bochy right there. You put a guy in, and how many times you see that first ball hit to him, they end up booting it or something, but he was ready. He was ready for the call. Makes a nice sliding catch to retire the leadoff hitter, and that always helps when you can retire that leadoff man.
Christian Guzman in the running for a utility spot on the club. But really, the guy who has stolen a lot of his thunder is Jose Lopez. Guzman in 17 at-bats has 5 hits. Lopez, on the other hand, in 24 at-bats has 10 knocks.
Well, Lopez
a little bit younger too.
Well, yeah, and Guzman missed last year because of shoulder problems. He didn't play at all. Lopez is right-handed bat, and he has a little pop in there, and he can play some first base. But well, I think they brought him to camp because he was a shortstop originally with the Minnesota Twins. And who is your backup shortstop? I mean, after Cabrera, it's Jason Donovan. If he's going to make it as a utility guy, so there's your shortstop. You have to have a guy that can play short.
Guzman wraps it on the ground to first. Belt knocked it down. He recovers and flips just in time for out number 2.
There's a luck. It just didn't stick in his glove, but he didn't panic. He realized he had time, and pitcher gets over there and the soft flip.
You know, a lot of times, Rick, that's something that I heard during infield drills before they started playing games, when they were just going through their drills early in spring training. they would tell the infielders, hey, if you don't field it cleanly, keep it in front of you and don't rush.
Yeah.
Just knock it down, pick it up, throw the ball. But so many times, as you said, you panic. You speed it up and then you kick it, you fumble it, or you throw it away.
Yeah, you still have time. And a lot of times defenders will do that when they know before the ball's even hit to him that the guy can run a little bit, so they just anticipate the guy's going to get down the line. Just, you know, don't rush it.
Worst case scenario is you don't get him. You compound it by throwing it away or making a hurried play.
Yeah, don't make 2 errors because you didn't catch it the first time.
Cabrera wails away, comes up empty, down to the count 1-2. Curveball just misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Full count. Drew able to work the count back to 3-2. Chad Huffman would be next. And it's ball 4. So Clay Hensley can't put him away, and the tying run will come to the plate. Huffman last year with the Clippers, 13 homers, 246 average. And it's low ball 1. Hensley had 2 outs, but now he lost Cabrera after he had him down in the count. And he falls behind Huffman. Two and 0. And Hensley wants a different baseball. Jose Lopez has moved into the on-deck circle, the guy we were just talking about a moment ago. Taking over for Carlos Santana in the DH spot. Missed inside. 3 balls, no strikes. And should he walk Huffman on 4 straight, we'll see if that brings Rags Rigetti to the mound, the Giants' venerable pitching coach. Nobody throwing in their bullpen. And he missed on 4 straight. So back-to-back walks with 2 outs. No visit.
No, he's hey, you got yourself into this, you get yourself out of it. You know, he got the first 2 guys out, although being a good play to get the leadoff hitter out in left field. The ball hit on the nose to first base, and then back-to-back walks. So he's saying, hey, that's it. He got into it. Let him get out of it.
Well, Jose Lopez steps in. Lopez hitting .417 on the spring with a couple of homers, 6 runs driven in. He's also doubled twice. There you see the numbers for yourself. And he's got a chance to change the complexion of this game. Looped over the head of the third baseman, dropping. It's a hit. Coming around third, Cabrera's going to score, and the Indians cut the gap to a single run. A 2-out RBI single by Jose Lopez. Off the fists, I think, and he just did muscle it over the head of the third baseman.
Well, that's what happens. You walk a couple of guys, and he made a pitch that runs in, and it did. It jammed him. but he gets enough of it. It got so far in there, no carry to it whatsoever. So that ball falls in. The inning continues, and the Indians cut it to a 1-run lead.
And Felix P.A. is the hitter with the tying run at second base. Go ahead run at first. Low, ball one. Just now getting some activity in the Giants bullpen as again Hensley had the first 2 outs in the inning. Santiago Casilla. Chad Huffman the tying run at second base. Lopez the go-ahead run at first, and P.A. banks one up the middle. Backhanded nicely by Fontenot, but he can't come up with it cleanly. And now the bases are loaded. Nice job ranging up the middle to get it, but it didn't stick.
Well, he was going to flip it out, and they had the out at second base. He makes a nice sliding catch, but by the time he got ready to flip it, I'm not so sure he didn't land on his hand. You see, as he was putting that bare hand down to slide, I think he caught a finger or something, because I saw him looking at it after. He's looking down at that hand. He did catch it, and he had a flip to second base, but it didn't come clean.
So they're loaded up now for Matt Laporta. Hensley deals. It's low, 2-0. If he walks home Laporta, we are going to be all tied up. Dave Righetti has moved to the steps of the dugout. Bruce Bochy might beat him to the top step now. They're both inching toward the top step of the Giants dugout. Big chopper to third. Hensley survives, and the Giants will take a 1-run lead to the ninth. Indians get a little closer. It's 4-3 San Francisco. Chen Chang Lee coming on now for the Indians. Right-hander will face number 9 hitter to lead off for San Francisco, and then we'll go to the top. Indians down 4-3 here in the ninth. Gregorio Petit takes over for Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop. Hector Sanchez will lead off for San Francisco. Singled his only time up in the 7th inning. Ryan Lawless waits on deck, and then Mike Fontenot due. Here in the 9th inning for the Giants. It's spring training, but nothing's changed for San Francisco. Another one-run game. That's lined toward left center. Cunningham with a great dive, but he can't hold it. Now the throw to second, and it's offline. Heck of an effort by Cunningham. All-out diving attempt. He had it for a moment, but it just didn't stay in the glove.
Yeah, he had a beat on it. There's no doubt about it. Going to his right. And as he dives, it just didn't stay in the glove. Looked like he had it. Let's see if it just deflects off, or it was never really in the glove. It went off the glove. Good effort. Then a late slide. When you watch this slide, it's a late slide. He goes in there. See how late it was, and his leg gets caught on the bag, and he rolls over on it. You hurt your knee. Anytime you slide into that second base bag and it's late, you better, your cleats, when they go into the bag, if they stick, that's when you get in trouble. You want your foot to go up above the base. You lift your cleats up. Those bags are awfully hard.
Sanchez stays in there at second base. And CC Lee delivers. Lawless pops it up. Foul territory. Nobody can get to it, though. PA the closest man there. And so Lawless stays alive. Lawless with a chopper to second. Guzman will flip it to first. One down. Sanchez moves to third. Fontenot today 1 for 4. He doubled back in the first inning. Indians will bring the infield in. Cut of the grass all the way around the horn. Sanchez, the runner at third, not a great runner. Outside ball one.
Well, yeah, right now you just make sure the ball goes through. It's up to the hitter to look for a pitch he can drive and at least hit a sacrifice fly in this situation. With the infield playing in, you have, a catcher at third base. The ball's going to have to go through on the ground.
To center field.
That's enough to get it done.
Cunningham grabs it, but Sanchez tags and scores. The Giants make it 5-3.
The slide on his sore leg.
Mike Fontenot does his job, picks up the RBI. His third on the spring. Connor Gillespie gets his first at bat. Big hopper to first. Laporta the flip. And we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Indians down now 5-3. And back here in Goodyear, the Giants will take a 5-3 lead to the bottom of the 9th inning. And they'll go back to their bullpen. Fifth pitcher to work today is right-hander Santiago Casilla.
Last year, 49 appearances, a nice ERA. We witnessed this guy when he was across the bay in Oakland, when he was with the Oakland A's.
Back in 2007, the Indians had a game against Oakland, and Casilla came into a game, and as he was warming up, Josh Barfield, then with the Tribe, started saying to players, you know, this guy, I remember this guy, but that's not
That's not his name.
He goes, he used to be Jairo Garcia. And he said, I know what he throws. He throws this, this, and this. They feature, and then boom, they went up and they got him.
Yeah. He changed his name.
Yeah. Casilla will face Aaron Cunningham. Then Andy LaRoche and Matt Pagnozzi here in the 9th for the Indians. In for a called strike, 1-1. Cunningham 0 for 3 today. And a base hit into right field. So that will bring the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th.
That's staying on the fastballs. That ball's got a little run going inside. Cunningham let it track deep into the zone and slapped it the other way.
LaRoche decked by the pitch upstairs.
Well, that's a wake-up call right there, right up under the chin. Andy LaRoche looking for something. He said, oh boy, not there though.
Andy's gone 5 for 11 in big league spring training games so far. That's a called strike. 2 balls and a strike. Of course, Andy LaRoche, his dad, Dave LaRoche, pitched for the Indians mid-7, about the same time you came up. 75,
well, I played with
76,
him. Yeah,
77.
he was over there 75, 76, 77 days. His dad was a closer for the Indians. Ended up getting traded to the Angels. And then he went on to the Yankees. Remember he came up with that Lalab?
That's why I always forget his name sometimes.
It's LaRoche Lalab.
The 2-2. Got him. 1 down here in the 9th. Sounded like LaRoche tipped it, and Sanchez was able to hang on without letting it hit the dirt. Going to get a pinch hitter now for Matt Pagnozzi. Trevor Crow. Crow 5 for 12 in spring training action. That goes to the backstop. That sends Cunningham down to second base. And Sanchez is going to go out and talk with Casilla. Five runs on 9 hits for San Francisco. 3 runs, 7 hits for Cleveland. Trevor Crow trying to add to that and bring the Indians back here in the bottom of the ninth. Casilla fires a strike over the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Once again, opening day in Cleveland, Thursday, April 5th. We'll have it for you at 3 o'clock on Channel 3 and STO. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and now Crow down on the count 1-2. Good block by Sanchez. Keeps Cunningham at second.
Yeah, this guy will make you work back there, won't you, as a catcher? You get a guy on base and you have to block everything.
Heavy dose of off-speed pitches. Bounce to first. Belt will go himself. 2 down. Cunningham over to third. And Christian Guzman now coming to the plate. Boy, yesterday was a day very similar to this one. Blue skies, not a cloud anywhere. And I don't know if they have certain days where they have more action than others, but the guys at Luke Air Force Base were all over the sky. It felt like we were at the Top Gun school at the Tom Cruise movie. Fighter jets buzzing overhead all afternoon long. And when they fly in tandem, I mean, they are wing to wing flying out.
It's fun to watch.
They fly with some serious precision. The 0-1 down in the dirt. Guzman grounded to first, his only time up. 6,224 came to Goodyear today to watch the Indians and the Giants, and as Rick mentioned earlier, probably a banner year for the Cactus League in total attendance. Guzman bounces it up the middle. Fontenot on the move, throws, and they got him to end the game. So the Giants hang on for the 5-3 win over the Indians today here in Goodyear. With the win, San Francisco is now 12-6. The Indians dropped to 5-11 in spring play. Winning pitcher is Eric Surkamp from San Francisco. He did a great job going 5 innings to get the victory. He's 3-1 on the spring. The loss goes to Kevin Slowey, who drops to 0-3 for the Indians. Kevin Slowey started off very well. First 2 innings looked sharp, but then in that 4th inning he ran into trouble. Had a couple of called strikeouts early on, but Brett Pill with 2 aboard in the 4th inning hit the big homer to make it 4-zip.
He has control, left him that inning, and that one swing of the bat put 3 on the board. The Giants never trailed after that. And on the Indian side, Duncan gets the Indians on the board. That's really the only offense they had, other than a couple walks late and a little bleeder. But you know, offensively, what are you going to do? They scored 3 runs. So the Giants hold on to win it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what we have come to learn about spring training, especially in this day and age, it's about getting your work in, getting your at-bats in, making some evaluations in key spots where you have to make decisions. So at the end of the day, you're not looking at final score, you're not looking at final numbers. But for the most part, the guys that you want to see play well have played well. The guys you want to see pitch well, for the most part, have. Jimenez needs to kick it in gear. You'd like to see him pitch well, at least tuning up for the start of the season. But all in all, I think fans have to be pleased with where this Indians club is at, even despite the injuries that they've had early in camp to guys like Grady Sizemore.
Well, we still got a few weeks to go. We saw Rafael Perez for the first time. He had a nice 1-2-3 inning with a couple strikeouts. That's a good sign. And it's time to start tightening it up. Now you got to get it rolling, and you want to play. And you know what? You still want to see results too. So if you can end it here with what do they play? About 12 more games or something. You want to kick it in gear and get ready for the start of the season.
2 weeks from tomorrow, Rick and I will be with you at Progressive Field in Cleveland for opening day when the Indians take on the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll have the action for you on STO and Channel 3 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'll be with you all next week here in Goodyear, Arizona, with Spring Training Daily nightly at 9:30 p.m. For all of us here in Goodyear, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.